Hello everyone, I'm back with another video for you today, and it's time to reveal my second tournament deck for the 983 Media tournament. Now, this tournament was pretty disorganized, so we haven't actually played even nearly all of the games, so I won't really be able to play this deck most likely because there's going to be a patch. I'm going to have to switch my deck around because of the tournament meta changing and stuff, so I might end up not playing this, but I wanted to showcase it anyway. The idea behind bringing a Lockjaw deck like this with Leech and stuff was to be able to beat both Thanos and Shuri. I think Lockjaw actually had a pretty good win rate against those two decks. You know, you're able to play Leech to disrupt Taskmaster, able to just get a ton of points with Lockjaw. You've got Killmonger to kill the Thanos stones, so there were a lot of tools to help you win those two matchups, so I thought it was a pretty good option and a pretty good tournament deck. With Lockjaw, you can often retreat when you don't draw your good cards, when you don't draw your early game Lockjaw, Thor plays, those kind of things. But when you do, then you're able to stay in and get a huge amount of cubes, typically. Not the best ladder deck necessarily, because if you play every single game out with Lockjaw, a lot of the time you're going to miss key cards, or you're going to get a bit unlucky perhaps with the Jubilee pulls and things like that. But if you play your snap and retreat game very sensibly with Lockjaw, then it can be a very strong deck. You know, if you're able to snap on certain very strong plays, or not snap when you're seeing an RNG outcome, yeah, then Lockjaw can be nice. Let's talk about the individual cards. We've got Wasp in there, the 0-cost card to trigger Lockjaw. Very important. It can also be tutored out with Jane Foster, of course, which is a play you often go for. You've got to be a little careful when you play your Wasp in the deck. You've got things like Jubilee, which can tutor it out, and you don't necessarily want it to come out of Lockjaw as well. So saving it for the end of the game can often be quite good. But yeah, Wasp, very nice. Lockjaw is the next card. We don't have any 1-drops or 2-drops in this deck. I've played a similar version of Lockjaw before, and the idea is just to be very consistent with the Lockjaw pulls and even the Jubilee pulls. You don't want any 1s or 2s really getting in the way of that. And also it's a benefit for the next card, which is Killmonger, allowing you to destroy all the 1s on the board, not affecting anything from your side. So you're free to sort of play that Lockjaw Killmonger with impunity and not worry too much about what's being pulled out. We've got Thor in there, so this can be comboed very nicely with Odin and Jane Foster to get the hammer. And you can, of course, play the hammer multiple times with Lockjaw. You can put the hammer into Lockjaw lane and go crazy with that, so that's very potent. We have Jubilee. She's really good when we have quite a strong top end of cards, as you'll see here. You've got to be a little careful. Sometimes you pull Wasp and it's very sad. Other times you won't and you'll be very happy. So Jubilee, I think, is important. It's a little less consistent than maybe a Dracula or something perhaps, but I think it's a bit better overall. Next we have Leech. I don't know if Leech will actually be changed. I'm recording this video before the, game balance update that's coming, so Leech might work differently now, but for this tournament deck, Leech was a great and important inclusion to deal with things like Shuri. It's just a good card in Lockjaw anyway, right? Because you can play it into the Lockjaw lane, you can also have it pop out and basically cheat out an early Leech or something like that with Jubilee, etc. So pretty useful. We've got Aero in there, key card in general in most decks, being flexible in your win condition, moving them into the losing lane, and it can be really good from Lockjaw, pulling the opponent and forcing them into playing in your powerhouse lane with the Lockjaw and whatnot. We've got Jane Foster to tutor the 0s out. Key card, often playing that on turn 5 to make your turn 6 extremely powerful. We have Dr. Doom, able to flood the different lanes, can be a very strong turn 6 play, playing him into the Lockjaw lane, helping out the other two while getting you more power in the Lockjaw lane, or just a good card to pull out of Lockjaw itself. We have Odin in there, works very well with the Dr. Doom, can trigger him multiple times along with the Thor's hammer, and even Aero, Killmonger, Jubilee sometimes as well, so Odin's a really nice inclusion. I think it elevates the deck to a real high level. We've got Magneto, a good tech option, being able to move cards around, great when it's pulled from Lockjaw. You can force again the opponent's units into the Lockjaw lane and make their life very difficult. And finally we have Infinaut, just for a bit of extra power, bit of extra juice, a big bulky unit that we can pull with Lockjaw and Jubilee, of course. So that's the deck. It's pretty straightforward. It's a Lockjaw deck, but I wanted to make sure that I share that with you and share my strategy going into the tournament. So with that being said, let's play some games. Maybe Jotunheim, don't think that's too impactful really. Doesn't mean a whole lot. Just don't play cards there. Probably go for an early Thor, something like that this game. Quinjet is going to be played, but it's not a Thanos deck. Wonder if they've nerfed Quinjet. I'm recording in the past. Everything is up in the air. All sorts of changes could be live right now to the game. Ooh, Elysium is really good. I will snap on that. I mean, I should benefit more than them from this. I can play an early Leech. I can play my Jubilee out. It should be good for me, right? I think I will snap. They've got so much mana reduction here, though, which is... it's a bit scary. They can do some really unfair things at the end of the game, provided they aren't leeched. Of course. Moon Girl is going to come in, so I think my Leech will really hurt them here. Sort of going to rely on that. Oh my god, Jubilee, what are you doing? I hate it when this happens, man. It's just so awkward. But not to worry. Probably just play Leech mid for the time being. I think we need to play that in order to have a chance of winning here. I can go for the Doctor Doom Odin play, which is pretty strong. I could also Odin the Jubilee, which could also be good depending on what goes on. They're going to move me over here, okay. We'll see how much the Leech really hurts them here. Infinaut, we don't want to do very much with that. It's not too useful. So is it Doctor Doom now? It probably is. Doom and gloom. But hey, they've been leeched. She-Hulks from Moon Girl are not working, I presume. And we do have a pretty nice Odin play. I mean, they can play a lot of stuff here, so we might be in a bit of trouble. That snap is definitely a bit on the risky side of things. A bit of a risky snap, all things considered. They're going to play 3 cards here. Will it be enough? Well, things are going to die in the middle. It's going to be a Darkhawk, not too huge, and a Shang-Chi, which also does nothing. Okay, get a pretty chill victory there. I'm assuming the Leech just annihilated them, which is sort of to be expected. Okay, let's get into the next game, shall we? We've got Mojo World as one of the locations. This generally can be quite good for us because we have Killmonger, although with District X being a thing, gonna be quite random as to what goes on here, which is not the best showcase of a deck. We've got the Jubilee at least, that's a card that's quite good. And Mindscape, oh my goodness, what a wacky situation here. I'll probably go with a, just, you know, a Mantis in the mid. We're going to be up against Green Goblin, perhaps some Clog. I think Jubilee in the Mojo World is always going to be decent. Just get some units in there, of course. We might just play the Jane Foster out. I don't think Leech will be very good on this particular board state. Killmonger coming down for the opponent. And we're going to pull Electra, so not great. I mean, a 1-cost card, at least we get another unit in the Mojo World, but it's not really what you want to see. I probably want to play the Hell Cow here just because we can really delete a lot of our cards. Make it quite difficult there for the opponent. Probably just play another 1-cost over here and give them these cards. This should be fine for me. Honestly, maybe Hell Cow on the right is a bit better. So we know they're going to have a Jane Foster and a Sabertooth. And they're actually pulling me into the middle with Aero, okay. Let's see what we get from the opponent then. We've got the Mojo World sort of under control right now, which is good. And Aero, I think that's just going to seal the deal, right? That's a really good option here because the Mojo World tiebreaker in our favor is just so huge. So I guess we can go with the snap. They'll probably retreat, but sort of a snappable position, right? Let's do that Aero. I mean, we could lose to a Doctor Doom, but of course they're playing 2 cards here. So we will take a nice little, very cheeky victory there with the Aero top deck. Okay, let's get into another game. We've got Project Pegasus coming in. That is really good with Infinaut. We'll get the early Infinaut down, of course. And Galactus! Galactus when I have an Infinaut there. Goodness me. Now that is a spicy start to the game, if I've ever seen one. Giving me the thumbs up. It might not be that good for me. They may in fact have a Shang-Chi. I'm going to have to skip my next few turns, as apparently are they. The question, I suppose, is, do I even play Lockjaw here? I probably do, but I'm not sure I play Wasp. I think I'll go Leech there. It does stop me playing certain cards here. Maybe just Leech them, play the Wasp. That should be enough value, right? I could also... yeah, there's nothing really we want to play here. I'm just going to snap on that. I think we'll have enough points here to win, provided there's no Shang-Chi coming. And even if there is, then there'll be another spot available, you know, where we can play another card. Get a little bit more strength going. Is that a Shang? I'm about to find out. You imagine they would have played it last turn if it was, so... not feeling too worried currently. I guess I could have gone Wasp first, actually. That would have been a little bit better, perhaps, but... they've been leeched. There's no cards here. We're going to take a rather wacky but funny win against Galactus here, by the looks of things. Just a retreat from them, of course. No way they're beating that Infinaut. Alright, let's try to get one last game in, shall we? See what we can do here. Opponent is asking me to snap. But it's going to be a Weird World game, oh my goodness. And we draw a turn 2 play. I can't say no to that. Honestly, Thor, Jane Foster are pretty good on Weird World. Those are nice options for us to go with. I think I'll try to get that Thor out ASAP, really. We get a Jubilee as well. Like, we can use the Jubilee also for really great value. I will play into Angela. Of course, we can move it and get even more points with her. Jubilee can still pull from our deck, even though we're not drawing from it. So that's quite powerful. We might be able to get something good. Maybe an Infinaut or something if we're lucky. I would not be too sad with that. Jubilee right, Lizard, Killmonger, or just Jane Foster in the middle next turn. Does seem pretty good for us. Sort of tempting to even snap it, but I don't have too much interest in getting cubes at this point. This probably would be a snap. Okay. Looks like they're going to play some stuff. We pull the Wasp, classic Jubilee. And they're going to play Mjolnir, which is also quite a classic line of play from the opponent. Should we go with the Killmonger Lizard? I think it's just pretty mana efficient. There's no Shang target just yet. Let's try to get as much Angela value as possible. That should be really good for me. They are actually going to move us across with Aero, annoyingly. But okay. I've got some value, at least from those cards. I kind of wonder what they'll have here. I don't have a great deal of points with the Jubilee Wasp, but I can stop them moving the bishop to the left by keeping one of those there. Potentially just playing Magneto is good. I'm a bit afraid of a Doctor Doom play because we know that that's in my deck. So this kind of a play would beat Doctor Doom. Maybe let's do something like this. They're going to go with a snap. Should we see if we have what it takes with just Magneto? But I know my deck doesn't have a whole lot of cards here that actually win it. Yep, Doctor Doom going to be the play. And we pretty easily take that one. Kind of outthinking the Doctor Doom a little bit. You know, of course, that's one of our cards. So get a nice win there to finish things up. That was my tournament deck. Thank you guys very much for watching. I might play a different deck in the tournament now that I can change decks. We'll see how it goes. But do subscribe as always if you want to see more Marvel Snap videos. Check out the video on screen. And I'll see you next time.